Hi everyone, it is time for part 4 of our page from Tiny Year by Agotapop, a Colouring Heaven magazine, and we have this lovely heart-shaped pendant to colour. Let's come and have a closer look. Now it has sort of jewelled details on it. Let's have a look. So we've got a big jewel in the centre and then lots of different bits and pieces around the outside. I thought we might do the centre one in a pink. Now I had said, oh, we haven't done any jewels before. Yeah, we did some shiny gemstones in the padlock, but this is a sort of whole different kettle of fish, isn't it, really? So I'm thinking, I'm looking at what I've got. I want sort of several shades of similar. Yes, that'll work. So I'm going to start with some amethyst. You can see it's quite dark, and with this sort of shape I tend to do darker on the outside, get lighter as we go into the middle. So I'm going to sharpen up. I'm going to come in a tad closer. There we go. Now I'm going to pick one of my outside segments, it doesn't really matter which one, and start to colour. So I'm going to make this edge dark here, so colouring over and over to make it more intense, and then fade my colour a little bit towards the centre. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Just going to go over it a tad. There we go. And then going to pick another one from the outside. I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to do it in the same way. Like that. And then another one. This is quite random, apart from the fact that they're all on the outside. Okay. I have shown this technique before. I think it was one of the gemstones in Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds when I did a whole page of different coloured gemstones, all mainly based on Helen Elliston's pictures. This one. Now I am going to do one on this one here, which is slightly more inner. I think you know what I mean. Just for a bit of a change, but we'll do this one. You can see these pencils give off a fair bit of crumb. Some pencils do. There we go. I'm just going to brush. Where's my brush? Here it is. It's good to have a little brush, because if you brush it with your hand, it's easy to smudge it. Okay, now I think the magenta next. I'm hoping this is going to work. Magenta. So we're going to fill in some of these spaces. Now, because I don't know these colours that well, I'm just hoping that it sort of looks right. I'm just going to persevere with it anyway and hope. So this one, so we're doing the same sort of thing where I'm trying to fade it as we're coming to the centre. And just using all these pinky shades, pinky reddish I suppose, purplish. I think I'll do this one. Also going to do, I want a middle one, this one, and actually this one too. There we go. So my husband yawning. Hope he's not, maybe he's getting tired. Oh, we had a tiring few days, to be honest. This is the azalea. I managed to get him in for a doctor's appointment yesterday for his sore leg, and that was a little bit stressful. It was a good appointment. He had trainees, and they were so thorough. I've had trainees before when I've had to go in, and the appointment was like half an hour rather than the 10 minutes that you normally get with a doctor. And they asked lots and lots of questions, did examinations and things like that, made suggestions as to what they thought it might be, and then spoke to the GP to get a sort of expert opinion afterwards. And it was they were lovely, very polite, kind. And I think interestingly, someone said to me, actually, when you get the trainees, they haven't had time to get hard and cross, and so they tend to be a little bit more sympathetic, which they were. And I guess also, I don't know, they were just really polite and lovely, so that was nice. Okay, we're going to turn to the slightly lighter part, and we're going to use, I think, maybe the mauve. So that was good. So it was nice to get that done. He's been sore for a while, and he's going to have mauve. Gave him something, but he's going to have some further investigations as well. So it's all fine. But and then today is always busy. It's Saturday today. We always go to the farmer's market, and then grocery shopping and cleaning is quite tiring. We used to do it across 2 days, which was less tiring, but what it meant, watch what I'm doing here, hard here to light, leave a gap, light to dark. This is a bit like we did on our padlock, but on the gemstone instead, to make it look like it's sort of shiny. The only thing I haven't gone right to the edge. To go right to the edge, whilst it looks a bit odd. There we go. So that is our central gemstone, and then around the edge I thought we could do a slightly different colour, just so that it looks different. Oh, let's just get rid of that pencil. Oh, we'll not get rid of it, put it away. That might be a good idea. So I thought what we could do here was we could do all the gemstones in, I thought maybe we could go for, around this circle, around here, I want a really dark colour. I had considered black, but I noticed that we've got indigo, so I think I'll go for an indigo rather than a black. It's not quite so harsh, is it? I'm just sharpening it, as you can hear, maybe. So here is our indigo, and hopefully that will act as a sort of frame around our main gemstone. So each of these I'm going to try to fade towards the middle, so we've got a darker, more defined line around the edge and a bit less in the centre. Yeah, it's always quite busy, but we're out tomorrow, so we're going to father-in-law's for lunch, and then brother-in-law's popping over later, so it sounds lovely. It's actually a postponed visit. It's quite matte, this indigo. I was expecting it to somehow look darker and more intense. Now you notice that there's almost a dot in the centre of each one. I think that's okay, but I might decide to do it slightly differently after a bit. Yeah, so we had to cancel our post-Christmas meetup because people had colds in our family, but everyone's well now. Well, apart from husband, his leg pain's not catching. So we'll be able to go, and husband's okay with driving. Even it's more sore when he's moving, walking and that, so he's fine to drive. So that's really good. So we're going to go over there and have lunch with them. And so I'm excited about that, really, looking forward to it. I haven't seen them for ages. and next weekend I'm seeing my parents, so it's all good. Haven't seen them for a while. We tried to meet them this week actually. I happened to be somewhere where they were in a different town, and but we couldn't meet up. We just sort of lost each other really. I didn't find each other. It's quite tricky because my parents don't always keep their phones switched on, so trying to get hold of them isn't easy. And I was with my son, who really didn't want to hang around for very long. He wanted to get back, things to do, so it made it a bit tricky really. I'm just taking my time working around here. Now I've got lots of little stones as if they're sort of a background. You could do them this colour as well, but I think I'm not going to. As I say, I want this to sort of look like it's a frame. And sort of draw our eye into this large central stone. That's what I'm thinking. I will put some white pen on quite a lot of these areas after. The good thing with the Holbeins is that white pen doesn't change colour, so you can basically do whatever you want with it. I'm going to use the pansy. Ooh, it wants to drop on the floor. I'm going to use the pansy colour. Just going to sharpen it. For the flowers. Okay, so we've got 4 flowers, and I'm going to do each of the petals as if it is they're a gemstone. So I'm going to go darker around the edge, fade a bit off towards the middle like that, and do the same on each one. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do in the middle. I don't really want a yellowy type gem because everything here is quite cold, but we've got to get some green in here for our leaves, so maybe that will change the feel of it. So I think what I'll do is I won't do those central parts yet. I'll leave them, excuse the pun, do the leaves and then have a think what's going to work. I'm sort of also thinking about the background. Now we've got, you can see parts of the brooch behind, like here, and I'm thinking maybe I might like to do those in a silver pencil, so it looks like it's on a silver base, because often jewellery, you know, has a metal, and the silver pencil in this set is actually particularly good. Silver pencils are usually fairly good. They're usually the best of all metallics, but I thought it might be nice to use it. I think, did we use it somewhere else? Oh, we used some of the metallics in our key, didn't we? They were okay, but really it's only the silvers that are truly shiny. So the others had nice tone, but they didn't have shine, whereas the silver has both, so that's rather nice. Now thinking about these pencils, I feel like they're a bit of a mix between Prisma and Polychromos. They're quite soft, but you need to layer them a little bit more so than you have to with Prismas. I don't think you can sort of necessarily smush the pencil around on the paper, but I think it might depend on how thick a layer you have. I think if you've got quite a thick layer down there, you might be able to. And I also found that most blending pencils didn't work, which was quite fascinating to me, because I have found that the Caran d'Ache blending pencil doesn't work with many types of pencil, which was quite a strange thing to me, because I thought, well, Caran d'Ache, surely Caran d'Ache works with, but no. The Prismacolor is the best blender, but it didn't really work very well with these. The blender I found worked was, I probably told you this, was the Polycolour, but the Koh-i-Noor Polycolour. I know Lyra, her Polycolour, they have the Lyra, is it the Splendor Blender? I used to have that and it didn't work for any pencils I have. I don't have the Lyras, so I just sort of got rid of it. I may have given it away. I didn't just like get rid of it, but I may have given it to someone who I thought would be able to use it, because I just couldn't. I'm going to do my leaves now. Now when I do gemstone-y leaves, which is what this is going to be, I usually like to use a really intense and greeny blue type colour. So I'm just looking at my chart. We've got this, I think this forest green is absolutely perfect. The fir green looks a little bit too dark, but I really like that forest green, so that's what I'm going to use. Oh, getting out the wrong pencil. There we go, forest green. And we're going to do the same as we've done for all of these. Oops, I've got a bit of a hair on there. Mine, I'm sure. I don't know if other people's hair falls out as much as mine. My mum always used to say my hair was everywhere when I was living at home. It used to drive her mad. I don't know whether long hair falls out more, but my hair's not that long, but it's longer than my mum's hair. Or whether curly hair falls out more, or whether it's just more visible because it's, well, I was going to say darker, sometimes it's not. Depends whether I lose a grey hair or white hair or dark hair. Oh, this lead's a bit wobbly in this pencil. I'm going to persevere with it though. I think it'll be okay for a little bit longer. Now I've decided to sort of make it darker in the centre. I'm not sure why I made that decision. I thought it would be a little bit easier, to be honest, because that would make our section a little bit smaller. And I think it looks fine. So it's as if it's two gemstones, one next to the other. There we go. It's quite a lot of green. You could do more than one shade. I think it's a little bit easier to just stick to one. Trying to find one that will work might be tricky once you started with one as well. But you could probably use one of the colours either side of this, the fir green, the bottle green, probably work okay. A sec, because I'm not that familiar with pencils yet, I can't say for sure. I can usually do a reasonable guess, but it is only that, a guess. Now I thought that because I haven't got my lamp on today because the sun's shining, I'd be able to see, but my eyes are going funny, so I'm going to actually put my lamp on and put my magnifying specs on so I can see what I'm doing, which is a shame because I thought I'd be able to see better. Obviously not. Yeah, I thought as the sun's shining I'll be able to see, but no. But yeah, I can see okay with the magnifying specs on. I need to sharpen it really, but I know I have to remove the lead if I sharpen it because it's so wobbly. It's almost broken inside. Got really little ones down here to do. It's like all this detail, all the background and the little circular stones, they're quite finicky, aren't they? I'm surprised at the weather. I think it's going to turn again. We just had a storm yesterday. We escaped really lightly here. It was just a little bit windy and a little bit wet. I watched some of the video footage and saw some of the pictures of what was going on, and a lot of places had power cuts and there were floods and trees down and roofs being ripped off houses and all sorts of things going on. Fortunately, we did escape. My husband was a bit worried about me actually, because I went out in the morning yesterday. I had to do a few things in town, and then sorry, I'm trying to get up to the line now. Then in the afternoon, after we'd been to the docks, I said, I'll walk home and I'll grab your prescription on the way. The chemist's on the way home. But, you know, we'd gone in the car. So, anyway, so I did that. And he was worried about me going out in the storm. But I managed to be out in the dry and all was fine. It was a very little wind, actually. We live in a valley, so it's it helps protect us as well. I'm going to have to sharpen this. It pains me, but I'm going to take the lead out. It makes sense to take the lead out rather than breaking it in the sharpener. It's coming along though, isn't it? I'm sort of tempted almost to do white gemstones in the middle of my flowers. I've got absolutely no idea how to make them look sort of shiny without making them look like silver. I'm going to have a little think about that. There we go, that's better. I think like all pencils with these, because they're quite soft, you need to make sure that you don't press down too hard or else you are going to break the leads. Just go gently and layer up and it works fine, but as I say, just need a little bit of patience. Sometimes it can be tempting to just press hard to get lots of intensity of colour, then it can, say, break the pencil. I do it myself, so I am guilty of it, but it's I have to remind myself, which is why I was reminding you. Well, I wasn't reminding you at all, I was reminding me. Ah dear. I have played with these pencils a little bit and they are lovely. I like the range of colour. I'm actually quite curious to know what other brands have ripped them off, really, because the Castle Arts and the Brut Fune and Macaron, the Castle Arts Pastel Tint and the Brut Fune and Macaron are rip-offs of their pastel, Prifty pastel set. I'm wondering whether they've ripped off any of their other sets as well. Right, I know I've got a gemstone here and I've got all these little circles. What I'm going to do is do my background bit. You know, I said I was going to use the silver, that's what I'm going to do. Now we do have a silver and an antique silver. Let's have a look. There they are. The silver is lighter and brighter and more shiny, so that's what I'm going to use. So the silver, that's what's made my decision. Silver. And we'll start here. Now I'm just going to block this in and I'm going to shade it. It's just my background. See, I don't know whether that there, is that a hole for a string to go through as well as that? I think that's where your chain goes. So this is a gemstone here. Now down here are these all gemstones. It's really tricky, isn't it? Here is a bit easier and clearer. Maybe I should have done this first, I don't know. Never mind, we'll do that bit and that bit. Oh, that's interesting. Someone's just been in the bathroom and I can hear that dripping again. Must be the sink upstairs. That bit, there's a little bit in there. I know there's a lot around this gemstone. I'm going to do those in a minute all together. Just sort of working my way around the edge part first. Let's see, it's got 3 here. 1, 2, 3, and then I don't think that's on all that. I'm gonna cancel out that bit there and that bit there, and then this outside bit. It's a little bit fiddly, isn't it? Now, I think in here, like that. I've got the mask thing I want tonight. I was saying to my husband about saying, not only are we rubbish at guessing who they are, we're also rubbish at guessing who's going home. We're just completely rubbish, but it's fun anyway. I think that needs to be in silver. But so I'm not sure. It's always quite hard to guess. Thing is, the audience has a vote, and then a panel has a vote, and you're not sure what they're voting for. You know, are they voting for the person that they want to know who it is so they can find out? Although I don't think they reveal in front of the audience, or else it would be leaked out before the show went out. No, never any leaks, which is good. Right, now I'm going to sit back and have a think and have a look from a distance. Those ones that are all around, I want something bright, I think, but not too, like light but not bright. I don't know if I'm making any sense. And I'm sort of contemplating fuchsia, but it's probably a bit too close to the pinks in the middle. I don't really want to go for maybe, oh yeah, let's do them the smelt blue. I rather like the colour, and I think it will work. So smelt blue, I'm going to sharpen it and do all the little gemstones that are left apart from the flower centres and this one here. So although this is more of a pastel-y colour, I think it will work still. Do that one there and that one there before I forget. And once we get our white pen in here, it will make a huge difference. Oh, do you see what I just did? That was not my intention. I'm going to pretend I haven't done it and cry slightly. I have to try and erase that. But anyway, I'm sorry if you copied me and just did it, because that was a mistake. What's it? I had seen this quote of Bob Ross, who I've never watched, to be honest. Happy Little Accent or something. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't ever watched it. I think the programmes weren't on at a time when I was sort of into doing art and colouring, so I didn't really see what he did. Right, I'm going to try and erase that one. There we go. Just going to rub my eraser on my scrap paper. It's sticking out a bit too far. Come on. Now some people use an electric eraser and say those are better. I haven't ever felt the need to try one. That's not too bad, is it? Right, wrong way. What I'm going to do is use, I'm going to use the tiniest bit of black with the sharpest of pencils, hopefully, and put a little bit of black in these gemstones just at the bottom. My black wants to wobble. Let me put a bit on a few of these as well. While I've got my black out. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. Now we're going to get a much lighter cool grey. I think the 3, I was debating 2 or 3, so I went quiet. And with my cool grey 3, I'm going to add a little bit to the centres of these, over that black bit and just a little bit up. And maybe a bit at the top. Maybe actually all round and then a lighter middle, that's better. But we're going to put a more significant bit of white pen on that one. Right, this gemstone here. We could go for this sort of whitish grey, but I think let's not do that. Let's go for colour. We could go for a different shade of purple. We could go for a real pink. Let me look at my swatch sheet. All blue. We could go for more of a bluey blue, like we've got the smelt blue. We could use like a royal blue or a cobalt blue. I think the royal blue would be better. Let's give it a sharpen. There we go. Now I want this one to look like it's standing out a little bit like this one. So I'm going to make the edge dark and fade to the centre. And that tends to give it a bit of depth. And this side sort of fade inwards. Then here we can do this sort of stripy thing. And we can just fade upwards on that bottom bit. There we go. I really want to define those darker edges. Right, now we are going to get our white pen and play around a little bit. I think I'm going to use the Jelly Roll 5, if I can find it. There it is, because it's a bit finer, so I think it will give us a little bit more definition. Now, where are we going to start? We'll start over here. Now, the 5 tends to clog quite a lot, but you have to be patient with it. But what I've decided is that I'm going to do all my shine on the sort of left hand side, as if that's the light hitting it from that direction. Trying to get the pen working. Sometimes you have to go over it a few times, or if it just decides it wants to rub itself out, then you have to wait for it to dry and then go over it again. the 5 is the Sakura that's most likely to block, because the makes sense, the nib is smaller, so if the paint dries out in there, then it you know, blocks it more easily because there's less space. I'm doing this centre bit a bit random, to be honest. I just want the indication of shine across lots of the gemstones, or lots of the parts of gemstone. But this side we're going to go back to doing right. Hopefully it won't look odd. All the way around. And back to these. We've done this one a bit. Hopefully, once it's all done, it will look a little bit more gemstone-like. All the way around, sorry. It's quite difficult to talk and do little tiny concentrated lines. Although I just noticed one I've missed there. That's someone that should be smelt blue, so I'm just going to find that smelt. Here it is, and just fill that in there. That's it. You may have found one you've missed, but you're probably more careful than me. And let's put a bit of white on it, wherever it was. It was there, wasn't it? Don't even remember. There we are. Now some people do little sparkles on their gemstones, like a cross type thing. I find that whenever I've tried to do that, it's looked rubbish. So I've decided not to. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm quite happy with it like that. So there is our gemstone. So thank you for watching today. We've got more gemstones to do tomorrow. It's actually a rather pretty looking one for tomorrow. Well, so that's nice. Well, they all are, aren't they, really? But thank you for watching today. Hope that you have a really super day, and happy colouring.